I don't really know how to start this video. It should have been out a year ago, so thank you to all the people that reminded me to do it. All 3 of you. Back during my birthday, I hosted a subathon, with one of the goals being I had to make a rapid-fire skin review of chat's choice. And miraculously, we didn't just reach it, but they chose... Yes! 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 Odyssey is one of my favorite skin lines of all time. Well, you know, most of it. A chaotic galaxy populated by ragtag rebels, noble Templars, crime syndicates, and the immensely powerful Demoxian Empire.
Did you see what I did there?
All of whom vying for Aura, a magical substance acting as the lifeblood of civilizations across the galaxy, promising untold power to those who can wield it for themselves. So it's up to our band of misfits, the Morningstar crew, to save the day and guard the entire galaxy from its ultimate destruction. If it wasn't obvious, this comedic space opera takes heavy inspiration from the MCU's greatest trilogy, as well as Borderlands, whose film wasn't quite as good, kind of like Odyssey's second outing.
I am profoundly unimpressed.
After an astounding first ensemble, engaging event, and fantastic game mode, this fan-favorite skin line did actually return only 2 years later. But I guarantee you at least half of you forgot these bounty-hunting idiots even exist, probably because Riot never bloody promoted them. Maybe that's for the best because... well, I guess we'll get into it a bit later, so for now, let's start with Odyssey Jinx, the ship's pilot, technician, explosives expert, and Star Guardian fan. How does that work?
I don't know.
I kind of love this one because, in essence, it is an exaggerated personification of League Twitter's headcanon for Jinx, at least for those who didn't watch Arcane.
That's me!
A fun-loving, rambunctious demolitions enthusiast, it should be pretty clear why she's missing an arm and a ponytail.
Explosions!
To date, Weeb Lord Jinx is still my favorite, but what a perfect protagonist for such a chaotic universe. How could you not love it? Rose Quartz is the best chroma, 9.5 out of 10. Odyssey Malphite. How do you fix Malphite's goofy proportions? By intentionally making him a goofy alien, of course. Endless references to his best friend Jinx, a striking color palette without losing his rocky texture, and overall, this skin line actually gives David Rockman a personality for once. You have to remember this skin came out almost half a decade before LOR gave him parental responsibility.
But if anything happened to him, I would kill everyone in this room and then myself.
Unfortunately, like all Malphite skins, the animations are limited by his near 15-year-old model, and 90% of the time he's plastered in this weird-looking rhinoceros cosplay.
Rhinox, maximize!
Sapphire's the best chroma, 8 out of 10. Odyssey Yasuo, the captain of the crew, even if he's barely qualified. The obvious highlight here is swapping out his traditional shoulder pauldron with a space lizard, even if it only actually moves during his recall. But honestly, that's really the only bit of substance I find here. The lore carries it hard, even if he is again just an alcoholic loser.
How original.
Who got framed for murdering his brother.
Daring today, aren't we?
But as a completely passable skin compared to his other crewmates, it's understandable why this one often gets lost in the wind. Ruby is the best chroma, 7 out of 10. Odyssey Sona. You know, most of these, despite the technical limitations of the near decade-old models, actually did a pretty fantastic job of translating the designs from the cinematic to the actual skins. Sona wasn't so lucky. That doesn't deter me from loving it, though. I mean, that splash art alone, good lord. But unfortunately, I'd say even more so than Malphite, this crusty old model does a massive disservice to the design. I get they never actually modeled legs for her, but they could have at least not made it look like she was wearing a straitjacket, right? Still an absolutely beautiful-looking member of the Templar Order, and acts as great contrast for the rest of the Odyssey crew. Tanzanite is the best chroma, 8 out of 10. Odyssey Ziggs. Despite not even being officially part of the Morningstar crew, I remember this one primarily because if you beat the PvE game mode on the highest difficulty, you got this skin and its exclusive border for free! Because besides that, I don't know. Does he have sushi for hair?
Sushi, of course!
I never really hated it, never really loved it either. It doesn't really fit into the Odyssey universe as well as the others, and it always made me feel like it exists solely just to round out the matchmaking lobby. Pearl is the best chroma, 6.5 out of 10. Odyssey Kane. It's peak. You already know it's peak. Peak Rost, peak Kane, peak Odyssey in general. Merc is the best chroma.
What else do I need to say? Actual 10 out of 10.
Galaxy Slayer Zed. The weird middle child of the Odyssey skin line, neither a part of Wave 1 or 2, and that's probably a big reason why nobody even remembers he's even a part of this universe. Who? But what it lacks in thematic cohesion, it more than makes up for in cool factor. A former member of the Templar Order, corrupted by it and perverting its normally soft spherical nature into a billion jagged spider blades. Animation-wise, this is top-notch, even more so than Debonair Zed. Yet if I had to pick one over the other, option 1 operates purely on a basis of being every edgy anime teen's power fantasy, and the other one is Dr. Facilier. Take a guess which one I like more. Merc is the best chroma, 8 out of 10. Odyssey Karma, the first of many upsets from Odyssey's Wave 2.
Great disappointment.
The High Priestess of the Templar Order, yet she somehow looks less majestic than Sona? Karma's a bit of an open book. Most of her skins range from just fine to completely mediocre, so I don't think there's a lot to say about this. I don't think the developers had a lot to think about it either. I mean, can you blame me? It only seems to exist so our new main cast of mercs can have their objective assigned and give the legendary skins some context. Peridot is the best chroma, 6 out of 10. Odyssey Twisted Fate. Cowboy Iron Man?
What did you just say?
Which I just found out is already a thing, apparently, in the Lego games. And yet here, it just doesn't work. Simultaneously too techy and not techy enough. Like metallic texture was just slapped over a Western getup and the result looks absolutely ridiculous.
This is terrible.
From a glance, absolutely nothing about it works. It doesn't fit in with Odyssey. It doesn't look like a cowboy. It doesn't look like Iron Man. I've held back long enough. I know the meme is dead and buried so much so it's reached the Earth's core, but this Twisted Fate doesn't even pass enough to be a Star-Lord knockoff. It fits right at home with the cast of Concord. At least it's got the meep container though. That's pretty good. I like him. Rose Quartz is the best chroma, 4 out of 10. Odyssey Sivir. Okay, be honest. You forgot this one existed too.
I don't remember.
Which is funny, right? Pretty much all the other Wave 2 skins I've remembered because of how much they missed the mark, but Odyssey Sivir has been almost entirely forgotten for being so mediocre. Aesthetically, she fits well enough into the Odyssey universe, a fine enough color scheme. I'd say she'd be right at home in the first wave, but I can never forgive this skin for solidifying Sivir's fate of her hairstyle being condemned to exclusively ponytails for the next 7 years. It's not even her base hairdo. How did it keep happening? Sapphire's the best chroma, 7 out of 10. Odyssey Kha'zix.
That's a bug!
Never once have I seen a skin too overambitious for its own good. Attempting to paint Kha'zix as an alien bounty hunter who in fact is not a bug similar to the Arbiters. At least I think they're not bugs. I don't know. I didn't grow up with Joe Microsoft. The problem is, Kha'zix's animations are so deeply ingrained in being bug-like, the whole concept of the skin is just lost, especially with the weapons. The idea of replacing his raptorials... Is that what they're really called? With hands wielding laser blades is entirely undone when they cover his entire hands and the fingers are
So small.
Still, it gets a lot of points for creativity at the very least. Ruby is the best chroma, 7.5 out of 10. Odyssey Aatrox. Holy shit. Thanosos. In this universe, Aatrox is a violent and notorious crime lord whose name is feared throughout the criminal underworld. He is also disfigured by aura abuse. That's not even paraphrasing, that's an exact quote from his bio, and I'm sorry, that is what disfigured by aura abuse looks like? Why are you wearing it on your head in your weapon? It doesn't make any goddamn sense. Like Zed, this skin purely functions based on the rule of cool, but if you wanted a purple-colored space-adjacent themed sci-fi Aatrox skin, well, there's a much better cosmetic on offer now, isn't there? Rainbow is the best chroma, 6.5 out of 10. Overall, Odyssey gets a total score of 7.5 out of 10. Not a great score for what is supposed to be one of my favorite skin universes, one I would love to see adapted into a show or movie someday.
I'm begging you!
It would be impossible to admit as a package, it's perfect.
Ugly.
What started as a near universally praised skin line filled to the brim with certified bangers was brought back with only a fraction of the effort, thought, and gameplay experiences, polluting a once near universally praised skin line into a mess of masterpieces and mids. A mistake Riot surely wouldn't repeat. But those are my thoughts. What do you fellas think of the Odyssey skins? Do you like them? Do you not? Should I have had this video out a year ago? Probably. Isn't even morally correct for me to start up a new subathon considering how much I botched the last one, and I won't even be here on my birthday anyways for reasons I cannot disclose at the time of writing. Be sure to tell me down in the comments below. So until next time, fellas, thank you for being so patient with me. Hopefully October has been a blast so far. There's much more cool stuff on the way. That all being said, I hope to see you all in the next video.